Alright, so now since we've learned the rules for counting significant figures, I want to talk about how we round, and then the rules for adding and subtracting and multiplying and dividing. So to round a number, you must first decide how many sig figs the answer should have. So first let's just practice kind of rounding like normal, and then we'll talk about how to apply them. So if you're asked to round each measurement to the number shown in parentheses, I have 314.721. I want to round to 4 significant figures. So first, I have 6 sig figs, so I want to count over to my 4th significant digit, and that's the place value you would round to. So this is like rounding to the 10th place. I look to the right, it doesn't need to go up, so I just keep the 7, so 314.7. That has 4 significant figures. On B, I want 2 significant figures. These zeros don't count. The 1 and everything after does, so I have 4 as is. So if I find my 2nd significant digit, that would be the 7. If I look to the right, the 7 needs to go up. So 0.0018 meters. Now I need to make sure I keep that 8 in there, or I need to make sure I keep those zeros in there, otherwise I'm changing the number. And finally, we have 8,792. I want 2 sig figs. As written, I have 4. So now I look, my 2nd significant figure is the 7. I look to the right, it needs to go up. So 8, 8, and then I need 2 place-holding zeros to keep the number the same magnitude. So 8,800 is just 2 significant figures. So now when we add and subtract, we actually can ignore the rules we talked about previously. This rule is a little bit different. So you really just line up the decimal point. So when you add and subtract, the answer to an addition or subtraction calculation should be rounded to the same number of decimal places as a measurement with the least number of decimal places. The reason being, you can't make an answer more precise than numbers you are already given. So you first, if you're adding on part A, I'm just going to add up these numbers on the calculator. So when I add, I get 369.76. So now we look. I have hundredths place, I have tenths place, I have hundredths place. So the least number of decimal places is right here. So I'm going to round to that, round to the tenths place. So I look there, just rounding like normal, look to the right, that should go up, so 369.8 meters would be that final answer when you add and subtract. And then on B, same thing, just subtract like normal, type it in the calculator, and I get 46.286. Now what place should I round to? I have thousandths and hundredths, least precise place is hundredths, so I went around to this hundredth place. So does the 8 need to go up? Yes, so 46.29 meters. So when you add and subtract, you really don't need to worry about the significant figure rules that we talked about above. Now they will come into play with multiplying and dividing. So our rule with multiplying and dividing, it says you need to round the answer to the same number of significant figures as a measurement with the least number of significant figures. So what you want to do is count how many significant figures you have in each of the numbers that you are multiplying or dividing. So 7.55, I have 3 significant figures. 0.34, that first 0 doesn't count, so I have 2 significant figures. So when I round my answer, I want the least number of sig figs. So I want 2 sig figs. So we type in 7.55 times 0.34. I get 2.567. Now we round to 2 sig figs, so use our rounding rules. Count the 2nd significant digit. Look to the right, it needs to go up. So 2.6. Meters times meters is meters squared. Same thing on B. We count first 2.10. that 0 does count. Wasn't 2.11 or 2.09, so that is 3. The leading 0 doesn't count, the trailing does, so that is 2. So I need to round to the least amount, so 2 significant figures. So 2.1 times 0.7, 1.47. I just want 2 significant digits, so I count over. There's my second. Should I round up? Yes, so 1.5 meters squared. On C, the same rule when we divide. I have 5 significant figures, and I have 2, so my least amount is 2. So when we divide here, I get 0.29197, a very long decimal. I just want 2 significant figures, so 0.29. Meters squared divided by meters would just give us units of meters. Finally, on the last one, 0.365 is 3 significant figures. Leading zeros don't count, trailing do, since I have a non-zero and a decimal. So 3. So 3 significant figures in that answer. So 18.25. Find the third. Look to the right. It needs to go up. So 18.3 meters. So again, these are kind of the rules for adding and subtracting, multiplying and dividing, and rounding. If you have questions, let me know.